as we were sort of writing it as we went along, so didn't have a huge opportunity to read ahead, but obviously I knew the story. What attracted me to the project, I think it was my character Josephine was a very strong character, one part of a female couple, which now wouldn't be so unusual, but at the time was quite unusual. So, and I quite liked the fact that she was a very controlling character, and I quite liked the opportunity of playing a controlling character. Yeah, so yeah, it's just that the whole thing, the thing with the two girls together and this strange creature coming into their lives. I just thought it was an interesting project. Always, when you get somebody coming in to disrupt something that's quite harmonious, it's always interesting because it throws up all the real difficulties that that relationship had, you know. But yes, that's what attracted me to it. She wasn't very nice, was she? But then it's always nice playing someone who's not very nice. I love it. So yeah, she was pretty unpleasant, but I quite liked doing that. So yeah, I don't know what I think. Well, probably because Gloria and Jessica was a very pretty young girl, and I expect that she was probably a bit nervous of losing her. And you know, so the only way, as is often the case, is to be dominant. I mean, it's a pretty well-tried pattern, isn't it, that behaviour, whether it's heterosexual or homosexual relationships. So, yeah, it's fun to do, though. Not to be, but just to play, yes.
What we have is real, Jessica. We must never lose it.
Well, that's the other interesting side to her, is that she managed to sort of persuade Jessica that she was completely normal, and presumably everyone around her, but that actually there was hinting at this history, which was rather alarming. And we don't know that, if I remember correctly, we don't know that early on. Well, the audience don't know that, but obviously I knew that she had this. Again, as I was saying earlier, I guess it was all to do with protection of her relationship. She just didn't want anyone else coming in, and she would even perhaps have committed murder to make sure that it didn't. So yeah, that's a very interesting side to her, and it's only just hinted at, which makes it more interesting, doesn't it? I think what I felt was that her desire to stay with Jessica was so strong that she would stop at nothing to maintain that. But the thing is, there is always obviously an imbalance there in the first place to be like that. So she was unbalanced, but managed to persuade people around her that she wasn't. As with a lot of people like that, they're generally quite good performers. They're quite persuasive. And she was obviously quite persuasive. Not a very nice character, really, was she?
She's got a better figure than you, too.
I think part of Josephine's intention in inviting Anderson over is to humiliate him and to make him look ridiculous in front of Jessica. And the dressing up, of course, was another very interesting thing, you know, particularly in the light of the whole gender identification thing now. So, and it was kind of to make him look ridiculous and unattractive to Jessica, and this continual kind of like putting him down. And yeah, I think that kind of was just a way of humiliating him, really. So yes, again, very exciting to play. Anderson was an alien, and we didn't realise that at the time. So all Josephine's taunts and insults and dressing him up as a woman, he kind of just took it. He wasn't overly offended by it, because it was all terra nova to him. So it was just, oh, this is the way they behave. So in a sense, Josephine was getting a bit frustrated by it, because none of her insults hit home. Well, I remember the day that we had to go into the river, and it was very cold. It was very dirty, very slimy, deeply unpleasant, and we were all splashing around, and Anderson was not very helpful in trying to be rescued, so we were sinking in, swallowing God knows what. Yes, horrible. And it was not a nice day, and it was a bit of a shock to be the first day. But hey, we were all young. What the hell? It was a laugh. It was a laugh, yes. It was really hard work, and we did work very fast. So you just got on with it. I do remember one of the main things that I did every day was have a steak. I really needed a steak to give me sustenance to carry on. And one day I didn't have the steak at lunchtime, and I really, really felt it. I thought, yes, I need that steak. It was also probably to do with the character being a bit, off the wall. She probably needed steak to keep going. And we stayed. We stayed at night sometimes in the house as well. So we were, working till 10:30, kept down there, and then really up and ready to start the next day. So it was hard work, but because we were all so focused and having such fun doing it, it was good. It was good. It's what the worst thing about filming is sitting around doing nothing. The best thing is working. So I mean, yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it that way. I'd like to do everything that way, with working really hard. It's the hanging around that's too exhausting. So it's good. It's good. And then the three of us were very focused on making the film good, us actors, as well as Norman, our director, and everybody around us was very focused, which gave it a really good feel. There was a real camaraderie of, let's get this done.
Anderson. My name is Anderson. I'm a stranger here.
This is private property.
This house, does it belong to you?
Goodbye, Mr. Anderson. I'm sure you know the way out.
So Anderson was played by Barry Stokes, who was in fact an old friend of mine, and so that was fun to be working with him. And yes, he's a very relaxed guy. He's an easy guy to work with, so that was all very easy. The whole thing was made easy by the fact that we all got on very well, and Glorianne, I got on very well with her. She was, I think, it was one of her early jobs, and I think she did really, really well because she was just really finding her way. I'm not saying I was hugely experienced, but I was still quite young. But I think I had a bit more than, I was a little bit older than Glorianne. So it was, just the way we got on was really good. We kind of just, we didn't let strange little personality quirks get in the way. We were just focused on the work. So, yeah, no, it was lovely working with both of them. It was gorgeous.
Oh, death!
Yeah, I had quite a bit of action to do. I remember fighting, that doesn't come easy to me, fighting. But anyway, we managed to get through it. And the other thing that I remember that I was really excited about was firing the gun when I shot the fox. I'd never fired a gun before, and I just suddenly realised how exciting it was, because you get this terrifying reverberation. I thought, my God, I've just fired a gun. I mean, it was, that was all very interesting, and the running and falling into the grave. You're always a little bit, God, I did a film not long ago, a little short, and I had to be in a grave. And I thought, well, I have been in a grave before. I don't know what's going on. So, yes, it seems to be a feature. Well, we had to be fit. And we were fit. We were fit. So, yeah. But you did have to be fit for that shoot, yes. Yes. Norman directed us very, very, very simply, very directly. And it meant that... although obviously there was quite a lot of discipline with it being such a short shoot, but within that there was an enormous freedom to really play the character how you felt it. And I think Norman and I were in agreement really about the way that I was choosing to play Josephine, and also with the lovely editor, Alan. That was really nice because I used to speak to him and say, "Did you get that look? Did you get that look?" And he'd say, "Yes, yes." So it was really fun. It was a really good learning experience for me to be able to work closely with Norman like that, and with our editor, and to be able to go and see the rushes nightly as well. So that was really, really useful for me. So it was a great learning experience for me. So that's another reason I'm very grateful to have done it, because you do learn a lot when you see the rushes regularly. It was a little bit, in a way, because we were sort of living together in the house quite a bit, sort of a bit like a hippie commune in a way. So the sort of horror of this film going on outside was sort of counteracted by this rather sweet, sort of cosy, hippie sort of cozy life we lived together on the real side of it. But my main memory is just the focus, the hard work, the contribution that everyone made. Everyone was so up for it. And when you're doing something where everyone's up for it, it's just exciting. It ups your game. So yeah, we all felt very much like we were just upping our game to get on with it. So I wish all jobs could be like that, where you're all in there for it, just for the good of the movie. Nobody's too interested in just presenting themselves, or the ego wasn't, no strong egos in that, which really helped us as individuals, and I think it helped the movie too. So yeah, I think that was quite an important part of it. When I look back, I realised that nobody was splashing ego or getting me about anything. We just got on with it. We just liked the story and wanted to tell the story. Looking back on Prey, the whole thing, I'm surprised and absolutely delighted in the way it's been received, and it's become a cult movie, which is, well, it's thrilling. It's thrilling to be part of something that has taken off and it's had such a long life, and I'm thrilled by that. I'm thrilled by that. You never know. You never know how anything's going to be received, and it's, you can sit around quietly for a while and then suddenly there's a lot of interest in it. And I think the interest in this film has never faded. It's always been there. So it was a good memory, and it's still, it's just so lovely that it's carrying on being. And I have to remember what it was like being in there, which is no problem. But it's so good that it's done so well, and it's a pleasure to talk about it, and I'm kind of very proud of it, proud of having been part of it.